a lot of people here. It's not true. So it's 7 people. But I have stage fright, so boy, you can. So I'm going to talk about growth hacking. So I guess let's start with what is growth hacking? Does any of you guys, can you raise your hand? Nobody? Really? Okay, go ahead.
It has a lot to do with the same concept as lean startup, right? Just finding, I guess, cheap, easy ways to grow your company.
Yeah, that's a good enough answer, I think. So this is technically what growth hacking means. Obviously, it doesn't have a definition because it's a pretty new concept. I'm sure you guys are awesome, kind of, dwell on some of the examples of growth hacking, Dropbox, Facebook. Now, it's very difficult for you to compare yourself with these companies because they're billion-dollar companies now. Apple is a trillion-dollar company. Also, kind of started from a growth hacking methodology. Actually, they use lean startup more than growth hacking. But growth hacking actually happens all around us, all the time. From small businesses that have one-person team to large businesses that have 1,000 people working for them. It allows you to jumpstart your business. It allows you to leapfrog your competitors. It allows you to get in front of people faster and better. So, example of growth hacking from our own perspective, I guess leap starting is a growth hacking methodology that we're using here. Awesome kind of dwell upon what starting is, but just to kind of give you an idea, for us, starting is a lead generation engine, one component. So when you come on starting and you're trying to do a competitive analysis, or you're trying to generate a video, or you're trying to do your logo, all that stuff, what happens when you get stuck in the middle? You get in touch with Tekrevol. Let's say that you've completed all the process within 5 days and you have your business ready and it's generated revenue. What happens then? Obviously, you come to us because you need to now build your product. So this is actually growth hacking for us as well, and we've garnered a lot of attention within TechCrunch. We garnered a lot of attention through email campaigns that we ran, and we built this in 2 weeks. So it's a mixture of lean startup along with growth hacking, what we're trying to do with starting. But that's not all, right? We started our company, I mentioned this before as well, 2 years ago with just one person who used to work in my bedroom in Karachi, Pakistan. And now we have about 4 offices, 2 in the US, 3 actually, if you count the Florida office. And 2 more abroad. So, and with about 70 people. So we realized early on when we started the company that if we were to take the same path that every other company is taking, and we have like 2 development company owners here, potentially, we're not going to get anywhere. So we realized early on that we need to growth hack. And we need to look beyond what everybody else is doing and see how we can leapfrog our competitors. And one of the strategies, so I was going to go through this presentation, but I'm going to kind of skip it just a little bit. So are you guys going to see my YouTube history? We've, thanks to growth hacking, we've managed to scale ourselves to a point where we had to change 3 offices within a span of 2 years. If you guys have had to change 1 office space, you realize how difficult that is. This is our most recent office, based out in Karachi, so it's pretty cool. I like to show this off a little bit. We have about 70 people that work from here, so there's that. One of the growth hacking techniques that we used, and I'll kind of detail that a little bit as well. A allowed me to be interviewed by NBC, and we get about 20 clients a month now, organically. There is no paid campaigns, no advertising, no nothing. The way this works is that we partner with our clients. Simple. It sounds so stupid simple, but in actuality, when you try to work it out, it's rather difficult. But see, we understand that when you work with entrepreneurs, your biggest target market, the people that you can engage with, the ones that you want to get in front of, are entrepreneurs. So why not make them part of your sales process? Why not have them, be on calls with you in sales? Why not have them be the advocates that you need to push your services out there? So now we don't have to be out there selling. Our clients do that for us. So again, growth hacking, when you come down to it, it's stupid simple. Dropbox used an incentivization referral campaign to grow its user base. But now we know it as a billion-dollar company that used an innovative system to grow. So, and I'll kind of go into another example just to kind of stress out my point. Does anybody know who these two guys are? Exactly. A tech guy. So, Abeer and Jack Smith are the founders of Hotmail. And so they started a company, they wanted to start a company called JavaSoft. And as with all people who are working and have business ideas, the challenge is that if you start working on a business idea, you're going to get fired. So they had the same problem. So they built a web-based email, as potentially every developer wants to. And so Hotmail was born. They raised about $300,000 initially in Series A, and they decided to spend it in marketing. Now this is what happened when they started marketing. They spent the bulk of their budget in 1 month, and what did they decide to do in marketing? Their growth strategy was to buy billboards and radio ads. I think pretty much everybody would want to do that when they start a business, but with how times have changed and how businesses scale these days, it's not anymore important for you to run these ads. Nobody watches them. So somebody had a better idea. Put down, I love you, get your free email at Hotmail at the bottom of the email. So I don't know if you guys remember, because this is a very, very younger crowd, I guess. But initially when you used to send out Hotmail emails, this is what would pop up in every email that comes out. And again, this is an example of growth hacking. So within ours, Hotmail's growth took the shape of a classic hockey stick curve, which is like pretty much what every startup wants to see on their growth chart. They started averaging about 3,000 users a day, and this is kind of the progress in 6 months. 5 weeks later, they hit about 2 million users mark. Because obviously, see, the thing is, when you start growth hacking techniques, they have an exponential effect. That's the key, right? It cannot look like a chart that is scalar. It has to be exponential. So in one case, Bhatia sent one email to India, and it resulted in 300,000 users in 3 weeks. This is their chart before they sold off. So you see here is when they started implementing growth hacking techniques. And what was their growth hacking technique? Just putting one line at the end of an email. Within 3 weeks, that was the Indian part, sorry. The story is not an anomaly. Facebook's done it, as Asim was suggesting earlier. Zynga, I don't know if you guys, does any of you guys play Zynga poker before? No? You guys know about Zynga though, right? Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $1 billion company. Groupon, Pinterest, Instagram, and a lot of the household names that you know right now. Tesla, Gmail, the invite-only feature that works so well with so many startups these days. You've seen it with OnePlus. I don't know if you guys know about OnePlus. So yeah, it's pretty much embedded. Snapchat as well. So I mean, I just wanted to put it there for the heck of it. I mean, we all know why, but just to get a feeler. Why do you guys think that you need growth hacking? You, the really quiet one. Yeah. I didn't even hear you breathe like you're, I don't know, ninja.
I mean, I think you need growth hacking because you want to minimize what you're spending on marketing while you're in that early stage, and you want to, I hate this word, but grow organically. The word I hate is organic. It works.
Right. That's a pretty good point. Cost. Now, these companies have amassed exorbitant amount of net wealth when it comes to tech companies. So you look at Apple, $1 trillion company, beating every other company on the map, right? Microsoft, Google, and these companies didn't exist 50 years ago. You have to realize that. So it's become more and more important for us to think creatively throughout the value chain of a product on how you can embed growth hacking techniques to leverage the users, to push your product out there. Now, there's different techniques for supply chain, there's different techniques for sales, there's different techniques for marketing, there's different techniques for production, but they exist. Every business has the potential to grow fast. The only problem is you guys are not thinking creative. Those who do, you get to watch them in the news. You can watch me on the news. So, no two growth hacking strategies are the same. It's obvious, right? As I said, every cycle has its own strategy that allows you to penetrate the market faster. Automate your sales process, automate your supply chain process. Does anybody here know what Amazon's biggest value proposition is?
Yeah, cloud, right?
Right. I think it was specifically referring to their, shipping business, logistics and stuff. You, I think, would know this.
What was the question?
That's what happens when you don't listen. But so the question was, do you know what Amazon's, biggest value proposition is?
Ooh, I mean, just returns, right? The return policy.
Yeah.
I return a lot of shit sometimes.
So their biggest, if you look at Amazon Go, which is like furthering their goal when it comes to value chain components, it's about the logistics part,
Sure.
getting things there faster. Before their delivery system came into place, you did not even know about like the same day delivery concept. Now Amazon Go allows you to walk into a store and walk out with the product without even checking out. It uses image recognition. So that's growth hacking from a supply chain perspective. So yeah, I mean, this slide kind of explains itself. Your growth hacking strategy is specific to your business, your value proposition, and the kind of culture you want to promote. And this is kind of where we end the presentation. So it could be a mixture of lean startup and growth hacking techniques. It could be something completely different for your startup. But the idea here is, if you guys are entrepreneurs and you have the passion and the will to drive down this really, really lonely and depressing path, you gotta think outside the box. Companies that, as I said, like now have too much money to kill you as competitors, not literally. So it depends on you guys how you want to pursue it. If you really want to test the waters, start with the lean startup methodology, build something small and scale it. If you really want to go out there, do what we do, growth hack. Any questions? Actually, Ryan's the one who's gonna answer some questions for you guys, if you guys have any.
Yeah. Well,
So you guys are offering starting as a service for entrepreneurs? basically?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. I mean, I grasped that obviously throughout the, the presentation. So at the end of the day, this is kind of running through the beginning stages, and then obviously once you get to the point of, then you contract with you guys. That's what
Exactly.
you're offering. Cool.
Exactly.
Got it.
It's a growth hacking technique.
I like it.
It's free for that matter.
Oh, it's free. I was. Yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
So, so the idea here is to utilize tools and services that other companies have that are charging you and make it free.
Got it.
At the end of the day, all these services that increase productivity are going to be free. It's just the way the world works.
And this allows you guys to pick the best ones essentially to work on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. I like it.
Connects with our culture.
Good. Good growth hack.
Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Neil, do you have any questions?
So your way of growth hacking is you're starting for, you help take a idea and maybe get some user validation. Then when they're ready to build it, they come to you. Correct?
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
So I think the biggest thing when we work with entrepreneurs is the conviction, right? So when they come to us, ideally what we want to do is make sure that they understand, that this thing that they're trying to build has the potential to grow. So this does the sales job for us. No longer do we have to convince them. They can get real life stats. So let's say any person that can give me an idea, a business idea that they want to work on, apart from the software companies, I don't want to have conflict in interest and stuff. Any other?
Start with the nutrition industry.
Nutrition industry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as a nutrition industry specialist, let's say that's what your space is. So when you come onto the platform, it would ask you to provide a problem and a solution, right? So let's say you're targeting, from a nutrition standpoint, let's say you're coming up with something that can beat Red Bull, and you feel like, hey, Red Bull has a bad rap, and
Dang, no way, huh?
yeah, it's an uphill battle, but let's say you're crazy.
Okay.
So let's say you come up with something that can involve organically building energy drinks and allowing people to kind of get some nutrition in them, all the while getting energetic and stuff. So starting would allow you to do your competitive analysis, understand where your competitors are weak, right? Nobody does everything, right? So it could be that they're weak on LinkedIn. It could be that they're weak on Twitter. It could be that they're weak on Instagram. Whatever that niche is, you define that, right? That's the market and the analytics part, the initial part. So once you're done with that, then the second step is for you to build your brand, your landing page, your video, your everything that you need, like your brand deck, everything. And it takes about 10 to 20 minutes to get that in front of you. Once you have that, now you're ready to launch a brand. So you automate your email campaigns, you automate your social media campaigns, and there you have it. Right now, since you don't want to build your product, right? I don't really know how many people would really start with the product itself. It's the stupidest idea in the world to start with a product. If you guys are doing it, not the stupidest idea. Sorry, disclaimer.
Forgive me.
So first, what you want to do is understand whether or not people would like your idea, right? Unless there's non-disclosure components there, protection and all that stuff. But you put it out there in front of people, and you talk about what your value proposition is, what is your how is it going to change the world, et cetera, and then you put it on a landing page and you put a video there that explains why this is good, and then you start getting hits. If people subscribe to it, or better yet, if people subscribe to the first 100 orders or whatever, you have your business validation. Now that you have your business validation and perhaps even some capital from the people that came in and subscribed, you can start your business. It's as simple.
That is the, okay.
I was gonna ask, so if you're sharing your idea out there and it's a revolutionary idea, is it a concern that like people would take your idea? If it's something that you think is brilliant, that's gonna change the world, and you're kind of wanna test it out there,
Right.
similar to what y'all are mentioning, I mean.
We get a lot of people that want to do non-disclosures and stuff before they can discuss their idea. Honestly, however, in the Silicon Valley space, we kind of laugh at that somewhat, because at the end of the day, for your industry better. There's nobody that can compete with you in your space. If you have something that you're, because it's not just the idea. It is also your background. It is also your connections. It is also your network. It is also your investors. All of that create a business. It is not just the idea. With an idea that you're not going to share with anybody, you're not going to get anywhere, right? So
When people come and they're doing these videos, do they already have all of that in the background, like the investors, the team, or is that something you do at the very beginning?
So the biggest thing that entrepreneurs struggle with is the capital, right? If you don't have money, you're not gonna get anywhere with the idea. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So, like, if in order for you to get the idea somewhere, you need to raise capital, and you can either raise capital through angel investors, which is a really, really difficult road to tread, right? Or you could raise capital from your customers. So there's campaigns that are crowdfunding campaigns as well. Yeah, you can go that route, but then I think there are about 100 million products out there on Kickstarter and other platforms. So you would stand very less chance to raising capital. However, what if you could raise capital to your customers? Because at the end of the day, once you put it out there that this is the product and people start buying it, they start referring it as well. And you start building your sales pipeline before you even build your idea. So that's key. If your idea is something that is revolutionary and it's going to change the world, and it's just something that you feel like shouldn't be out there, then yeah, there are paths for that as well. I mean, you can go get a patent. You can get a patent pending before you start putting up this 90-page stuff. It doesn't take long. It's not a very, very rigorous process. So there are ways around it. But then I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy, so I'm like, put it out there, see what happens, and then fix it. So, it doesn't work for everybody. Go ahead.
That's a good question. Regarding the analysis part, do y'all do pestle and SWOT analysis? Or is that something the entrepreneur does with going through each question?
This is actually like a very interesting question, because I feel like the analysis component of businesses when they're starting out is really weak. So we still study like SWOT analysis. We still study like different comparative analysis, which are pretty rudimentary. You can get a very, very, very in-depth view of your competitors in 5 minutes if you wanted to. Owler, Crunchbase, SEMrush, Ahrefs. There's so many platforms out there that give you like really detailed information. So you can see how much your competitors have raised.
What were those 3 again?
You can. Yeah, I'm serious. So there's Owler, Crunchbase, SEMrush, Ahrefs, SimilarWeb. So you will be able to tell. Yeah, I'll text you.
Thank you. Very cool.
So Owler would let you know, how much your competitors have raised, who have invested in them, how much they're making, how many people there are. You can use LinkedIn to get an idea of how many employees your competitor has. See if you want to poach them. You can use SimilarWeb to get an idea of how much visits your competitor gets. Where they get those visits, what are the channels, and you can kind of optimize those. You can use different social media networks to understand what the demographics are for your competitors. So there is like a bevy of information out there for you to do a very thorough competitive analysis before you even start, like drawing a line even.
Cool.
So you don't have to like invest hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, you know, starting something. You know, if you can just spend 5 minutes on a computer.
Thanks, Ray.
Any other questions?
Do you think this works for any product out there, or is it specifically like software?
So for products, that's a really interesting question. Can you be specific?
Like what I'm doing is
3D printing.
3D print, right?
Right,
So
right,
if I print a 3D can,
right.
I mean, I'm
So-
having trouble making the connection.
Right. So for products that are homogeneous, right, that are pretty much similar, or you cannot brand it, competitive analysis would give you an idea of defining a positioning for yourself, right? So if you look at your competitors and see which one are the successful ones, and you see how are they successful, and then you see where they're lacking, where they're lagging behind, it would give you an idea of where to hit your clients. And then it would also tell you from your competitors how much are they making, where have they raised capital. So if you want to follow the path towards raising capital yourself, you know, it would allow you to kind of pivot yourself towards that direction. So even if it's a homogeneous product which doesn't really have a branding, or it's a service, actually 3D printing would be a service, right? So, you know, like you can look at service companies that 3D printing, and basically, so either you would make the same mistakes in the next 10 years that they made and got to that point, or you look at their mistakes, you know, and kind of not make them.
Yeah.